So we're here talking with Haley Kirka. And Haley, I knew your dad
Mm-hmm.
from the internet. I didn't know him
Yes.
personally, but we always found ourselves in agreement on these internet chat streams.
Uh-huh.
We would debate politics. And it was funny sometimes your mom and your dad would be conflicting in the comments, and I would
Mm-hmm.
side with your dad, and it was great. So we had a rapport, and
Sure.
I was so sad to hear when he passed.
Yeah.
He just seemed like such a great guy, such a consistent, character-driven person, at least online.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really glad that we're able to get together and talk with you about what this project that you're doing to honor your dad, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we can help you achieve it.
Yes.
So
Well, I'm excited too. And you're making me miss my dad. He was a good guy, and he was definitely a man of character. And all of us, our whole family, misses him so much.
oh, I bet. Well, what's tell us and the listeners what's the gist of your effort here? What are you trying to achieve, and why?
So I guess starting the beginning, my dad was born and raised in Fairbanks, and he moved to Washington State and met my mom, and they were married and lived in various places throughout their life together, and eventually ended up in Maine. And in Maine, my dad wanted to move back to Alaska. He always wanted to. My mom was resistant to it. She didn't want to come back up here to the land of ice and snow. Eventually, the house that they were house sitting, or we were all staying in, it burned to the ground, so we had nothing left. And it was kind of like an impetus for my mom to say, okay, well, I guess we can go to Alaska. We don't have anything here anymore.
Better cold than on fire.
Right, yeah, I guess so. So my dad bought an old school bus, and he remodeled it into a motorhome and made it very unique. He was a very tall person, so he couldn't stand up in a normal bus, and so he built the roof up and just made a really unique bus. And we traveled in it for 2 years all over the United States. And there were, let's see, I'm number 3, and my next sister was there, so there were 4 of us, and then the fifth one was born in the bus. So she was born.
So this bus is special.
This bus is very special. There were so many memories made in it, and we went to so many amazing places and met really neat people. Finally came up here to Alaska. We were initially going to Fairbanks, but found Palmer and decided to stay. After getting settled in Palmer, my dad eventually decided to sell the bus, sold it to a local guy, and they hauled it off. And I remember it being pretty sad when they took the bus away. You know, they needed the cash and didn't have a need for the bus anymore. But several years later, I got married, and my husband's family actually knew about this bus, and so we went and drove by, and I'm like, that's my bus. Like, I can't believe it. We
so
found
they
it.
had identified it.
Yeah, well, I was showing them pictures, and they're like, we know where that bus is. So it actually happened to be out near some of the extended family. Found the bus, and I always had a plan, and some of us kids were kind of conspiring to buy it back, and that just never materialized. But then just recently, it disappeared. It was taken away. And so my plan and my dream of buying the bus kind of fell apart. I was like, well, how am I supposed to find it? I don't know where it is. And that's kind of where we're at, is trying to find the bus that my dad built and we grew up in. And it's really special, important part of my heritage.
So the bus, when we spoke before, you had mentioned too that you had even seen it broken down on the side of the road.
Yeah, my brother-in-law. Yeah, he told me a couple weeks after, he said, hey, I saw your bus broken on the side of the road. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Like,
so whoever moved it, they tried to move it
Yes.
by driving.
Yes, they did drive it. I know at least, maybe 10 miles or so from where it was to where it had been seen broken down. And my husband and I, we drove out several times in that area, looking around in the neighborhoods, just driving on the roads. We never did find it, so I'm not sure if it's in that area, that was the Houston area, or if it was taken further north, or maybe to a junkyard. I mean, we have zero idea at this point where it's at.
And how
But
long has it been since it was seen on the side of the road?
That was this summer. I can't remember the exact month.
So there's a good chance we could still locate this thing.
I think so. I mean, I think that if it was going to be taken to a junkyard, it wouldn't have been broken down on the side of the road where it was, because it was back off the main highways.
Right.
That's just my idea, maybe my hope. But yeah, I absolutely think we can find it. I feel like the power of social media, somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows where it is. And
Right.
I'm really hoping that, we can identify where it's at, and I would just love to have it back in the family. That's how
Well,
I feel about it.
And you have quite a treasure here in your dad's own handwriting.
Yes.
Which shows everyone what the bus looked like in process, and the
Yep.
process of changing it
Yeah.
and adapting it for his tall stature.
Yep.
So-
It's really a neat little document. It's something that's one of our family's most treasured possessions, but it is just his writing and the kind of his vision coming to life through these pictures.
Well, and it was such a bold move too,
Mhm.
to load up a family in a bus and
Yep.
travel across the country like that.
Yeah.
Where was the starting point?
Maine. We
Maine.
started in Maine.
Oh wow, that's
And we drove down the East Coast and we stopped a few times for my dad to get medical treatment. I remember some nights in the bus, the heater broke down. I remember one night, and it's like, well, we can't fix it right now, so we're just driving south. And we just drove south till it warmed up, and all night. And there's so many little memories of things that happened in the bus, and so many Walmart parking lots
That's a safe
where we
place to
stayed.
park, huh?
Yeah. Well, until they tell you to move in the middle of the night. I think they did that in California.
I want in California. You think they would be all okay with it, right? Well, I wonder how long you were on the road between Maine and Alaska. Do you
It was
remember?
almost 2 years.
Was it really?
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, because we,
So
like
you're
I
stopping
said,
along the way.
Yep.
You're kind of setting up house in a place.
Yep. And then my sister was born, so that was a little bit of a delay there when she was born. And like I said, my dad had medical treatment. He was disabled, so he had some leg ulcers that he needed medical treatment for. So I think we stopped for maybe 6 months in North Carolina, if I remember right, and then a few months in Pennsylvania. And yeah, it was always hard to then be like, okay, well, we're gonna pack up and move on.
But
It was our life.
And it seems, I don't know all of your siblings, but I know your older sister, I know
Mhm.
you, and it seems like one thing that really stands out, and maybe it's because of this, you're all outgoing individuals. You're out there in the community, you're involved. I would think that taking a 2-year trip across the country would probably break down some barriers and make you more social.
Yeah, I think so.
and you met a lot of cool people
We
along the way?
did. We met a lot of cool people. Some we're not in contact with anymore. Some we are. Yeah, I don't know if that's why we like people so much, but we did have the opportunity to meet a lot of different people, and I think that was good. Kind of expand, out of our internal close-knit family to this is kind of the world we live in, and there's a lot of different people in it. I think that we all like people so much.
Right. And you're all very outgoing and friendly.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
My dad's nickname was Ricky Doodle. My mom was the one that mostly called him that. So I've dubbed our family bus the Ricky Doodle. So
So search on Facebook for Ricky Doodle.
We're gonna be Ricky Doodle on Facebook, yes.
Okay.
And that's kind of the name of the bus. I'm really hoping to find it and bring it back home. That's really how I feel about it.
So the search for Ricky Doodle has
Yeah.
begun.
It's begun.
Thank you for letting us help you.
Thank
Make
you.
this happen.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what comes of it.
Well, I think this community is going to come together and help you make this happen. And you're
Awesome.
going to restore the bus, I understand?
Yes, that's my plan.
Ah,
I'd
so
love to
cool.
restore it, make it an Airbnb or something like that,
Oh,
so
yeah.
people can come stay in Ricky Doodle.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
He would like that too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's ambitious.
Yep,
He would like
it
that.
is, and just letting people just appreciate what he did, because it was a vision. I mean, nowadays there's more of a craze for the bus life, I think, but back then it was out there.
He was avant-garde.
Yeah, and so I think people experiencing that and seeing our family history will be really neat.
That's great. Well, Haley, thank you so much for talking with me.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're
Josh.
going to put this out there.
Okay, I'm
right.
excited.